you're performing a matched pairs T procedure and you need to calculate dbar and SD by hand, it's very simple. It's just like how we calculated x bar and our regular sample standard deviation, except the notation is slightly different. For dbar, we're going to take every observation, add them up, and divide by the total number of observations. So in notation, it looks like this: the sum of di from I up to n all over n. If this notation scares you, don't worry. It just simply means that we're going to add all of our observations. So -6 plus -2 plus -1 plus -3, which gives us a -12 for our numerator, all divided by n, which is 4 in this case. This will give us a dbar value, or difference average, of -3. To calculate our sample standard deviation of the differences, then the formula for SD is simply equal to the square root of the summation of DI, so each observation, minus the mean squared, all divided by the sample size minus 1. So in this case, this is equal to the square root, we're going to just kind of leave that there, of our first observation, which is -6, minus our mean of -3 squared, plus -2 minus -3 squared, plus a -1 minus a -3 squared, plus our last one, which is -3 minus a -3 squared. All of this will be divided by n minus 1, which in this case is 3. This is equal to, then, take the square root, can't make sure that we don't leave that behind. And so we have -6 minus a -3. We'll recall that when we have a minus a negative, we have to add the positive. So if we do this, we get a -3 squared for the first expression. The next expression will be -2 minus a -3, which will give us a +1 squared, plus -1 minus a -3 will give a +2 value, so 2 squared, plus -3 minus a -3 is simply just 0 squared. All this again over 3. We're almost there. This is equal to the square root of -3 squared, which, remember, -3 times -3 is a +9, so anything squared will be a positive value. So we have a +9 plus 1 squared, which would be 1, plus 2 squared, which is 4, and 0 squared is simply just 0. All this, again divided by 3, is equal to the square root of 14 over 3, which is equal to the square root of 4.67, which is equal to 2.16. This is the same as we got from our calculator. This is how we can calculate dbar and SD by hand. Obviously, this will be pretty tedious. So I recommend that once you take the differences, you can use your TI-84 to calculate the average and the sample standard deviation. You can use any program to find then the standard deviation and the mean if you just simply take the differences first.